that judge who's supposed to be a part of Epstein's thing?
Man, this shit's getting hot. Shit's getting hot out there, man.
Ooh, man.
He's got the fire on the britches right now. Fire's on the britches. Throwing gas on the fire.
I'm telling you, people are getting taken down over this. This is a hot topic. This is that push button stuff, you know.
Now I know they're doing like a cleanup right now. This is like their cleanup protocol. These guys are all trying to like.
What do you mean cleanup?
Like these guys are trying to cut all the loose ends so they can like keep their name under wraps, like who's involved in all this.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if maybe one or two might sneak out to keep it like going longer. You know what I'm saying? Like if one or two get out.
Do you think intentionally?
Yeah, like like for their intentions because they didn't want to die. They don't want to not die.
Right.
They don't want to kill themselves. I'm just kidding. You know what I'm saying? So
they
it's
don't
like,
want to get took out in a drive-by.
Yeah, so most of them are trying to get out. You know, there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of CEOs that all these big ass fucking big companies all dropping out right now during this. You know what? Because they're all possibly on that list.
I think I am a bad influence on you because you did that one episode by yourself and you didn't curse through most of it, and you already dropped an F-bomb.
Well,
am I like the evil essence?
You're like the ebony to my ivory.
Ooh,
the yin to the yang.
All right, okay, I'm digging it. I'm like
I was nervous, dude, but I was doing that by myself. I was like nervous.
The bowling pin to your bowling ball.
The wrecking ball. I like what's her name? The Cyrus.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I don't even know how you sing it right.
Something.
Yeah, something.
That sounded aerobic style, but fuck it. I did it again.
Maybe I did some aerobics while I was singing it.
You know, that's what we do. Aerobicize the words.
Greetings. Welcome back. Yeah.
We are here.
We're here to entertain you. So, while I was gone, I got some new neighbors. Well, they've been around for a while. I haven't made mention of them. I've had new neighbors for maybe like 2 weeks now.
New neighbors.
Yeah, they live across the street from me.
It's always exciting.
They're a young couple. I would say they're in their mid to early 20s, I would say.
All right, some youngsters.
I think the husband, this is his first house. He lived in an apartment before.
Awesome.
And I think the wife, this is her first time away from mommy and daddy's house.
All right.
So they're fresh. Well, they haven't cut their grass, not once since they've been there. And I watched a gentleman drop. I knew they didn't have a lawnmower because maybe about a week or so ago, I watched a guy drop off a snowblower and a lawnmower to them. I'm like, oh, okay, they don't have anything. Oh, I got you.
Especially in the summertime.
Yeah, they're starting off from scratch. It's like, oh, good, they got a snowblower, decent snowblower, a nice sized Toro. I was like, okay, you'll be all right for the winter.
Does he know how to use it?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen him cut the grass. So yesterday I was cutting my grandma's grass, who happens to live next door to them. By the way, my grandmother already does not like these people.
Your grandma don't like nobody.
She doesn't.
I told you your grandma came and punked me down before your wedding.
I know. She thought you were going to play rap music at my
DJ,
wedding.
I was the DJ at the wedding, and she came up and just like at the rehearsal and like squared up on me. She was like squared up on my like my solar plexus area.
Yeah, because
she's like, "You're not going to play rap music all night, are you?" And I was like, "Well, that's what I was told to do." I was kidding.
My wonderful grandmother's 5'0", but she will take on Mike Tyson. She does not care.
Yeah, she did. She was all about it.
So anyway, I says to my grandmother as I'm cutting her grass, I says, what do you think these people would do if I just cut their grass tomorrow? And tomorrow is today. I had this conversation yesterday with my grandmother. And she says, I don't know. Don't do it. Let me ask the guy when he gets home from work. I says, all right. So she calls me later. She says, he was so ecstatic. That was the word she used. He was so ecstatic at the idea that you would cut his grass.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. So I did. I got out, I cut the grass, I edged everything, I weed whacked it all nice and tight, looking real nice and preen. So this lady comes over to the house while I'm doing it. I don't know her. She doesn't look like a resident. I think she's a family member. She's supposed to be painting upstairs, right? Uh-huh. So I'm standing in the driveway talking with her. My grandmother comes off the porch, and she does one of these, psst, hey, come here.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like...
Intervention.
Yeah, I'm like... What? She's like, come here. So I go over to my grandmother. She's like, don't talk to that lady. She's a little odd. I'm like, we're all a little odd. What are you talking about?
Who ain't?
She's like, and don't go in that house. I was like, I'm not gonna go in the house. The lady was telling me how happy she was that I
might not make it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very strange. I'm there to just cut some grass and be real neighborly, help these people out. And my grandmother's already not liking these people. It was a very interesting scenario.
You had to choose sides. She went over there and drew a line in the sand.
Yeah.
She was like, William. Billiam.
So I was kind of like, well, maybe we can make friends with these people and we'll just have loud parties at their house just to aggravate my grandma.
Oh, and then come over there and ask for ice or some shit like during it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that would just be the icing on the cake.
Or
for
call her
her.
and be like, "Hey, we were drinking. Could you get us some more beer?" No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my grandma would lose her mind.
She'd hang up on you right there.
She would. She would start praying to the Lord Jesus to save my soul, and that I'm possessed with the devil and all these things.
You'd be in trouble.
It was crazy. I bought a puzzle game recently. It hasn't come yet. I'm gonna debut it next week on the next episode when it comes. It's an interesting puzzle. Okay, so you have this cube with these different slots in it, and you have to put these blocks in and align them, and you get 52 different cards that tell you different pieces to use to solve the puzzle. And it's called Sherlock Holmes Wood Puzzle Game.
Nice.
I thought it was only $25. I saw it in an ASMR video. This guy was using it because it was wood and it made interesting sounds. Well, watching the guy use it in his video, I was like, I kind of want that because I was like, I think I could solve these puzzles better than your ass can.
Man, there was this Mr. Puzzle or Dr. Puzzle, somebody like that. I'm a real big fan of his. They got these intricate puzzles. You know, they're so difficult. Some of them require you to almost like take things apart to, you know, make a key out of something. And it's so quiet. It's crazy. Those things are pretty fun, man. Those can be wild.
Puzzle games can be really fun. Most of your puzzle games are like, you get it and you put it together, take it apart, put it together once, and then you're done. You know what I mean? You solve the puzzle. That's it. I was a little enthusiastic about this one because you have different cards. There's 52 of them, so I'll at least get 52 uses out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad for $25.
Well, back to these crazy neighbors, and I mean, I'm sure you have crazy neighbors
ahead.
before, right? Like, I mean, from the past, you've always been around crazy neighbors.
Yeah, the guy who lived there before them, he was pretty low key, kind of a little bit of a pothead.
Okay.
Heavyset guy, had a kid. I kind of felt bad for him because his wife died years ago of cancer, and he had to raise a kid on his own.
Man.
Yeah, it was a bummer thing. She went quick too.
In my neighborhood, all the houses were like really close. So like, and we had crazy neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you could hear everybody's life like through your windows. And if you didn't have money, like we was poor, so we didn't have AC. You had to keep your windows open.
Right.
No, but yeah, we'd have some crazy neighbors. You could hear them fucking fighting, yelling all the time. But finally, when I got older, I got my first apartment. And I remember I was in this like building. You had like 4 apartments in the building, and I had like the top floor or some shit. And I remember we had like somebody was a gambler or something. Man, you could hear him during sport games, you know, yelling at all, like everybody like in the NFL. Like,
oh no,
whoever was his team or whatever. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like that's you.
What's wrong with you?
I feel like that's you. Like
it used to be when I was like thinking they had a shot, you know. But I mean, if they put an expansion team on the moon, that team will win before the Lions would.
Wow, that is.
It's still my team, but I know what's happening. I know what the real deal is.
Lions, you hear that? Better step your game up.
The moon or the Mars? Mars or the moon?
Step
they probably
it up.
win before us.
I mean, my neighborhood.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that.
Oh, is that a party foul?
No, I hit the table.
Oh, all right. I thought I saw a little spillage. No,
could be.
All right. Well, anyway, I have a pretty low key neighborhood. I have one actual neighbor. And that's to the right of me. And then on the other side of me is an open field. And on the other side of that is a church, a Baptist church. So my neighborhood's pretty quiet. You really don't get a whole lot of nothing. I'd had my bike stolen out of the backyard once.
Nice.
And, I mean, that's better than when I lived in Inkster. I had my bike stole like 3 times, and I got it back 3 times.
Man,
listen. I saw the kid riding my bike, and I'm like, "Hey, man, that's my bike." And he's like, "No, it ain't." I ran out of my house, pushed his ass off the bike, and grabbed my bike. I said, "This is my bike."
People used to run through our neighborhood. It'd be like 2 kids, like it'd be like 2 bikes with like 6 kids on them, and then they'd all be leaving with bikes in our neighborhood. They'd all have bikes by the time they left.
Wow.
They'd be kids on the bikes and front pegs and back pegs, and they all had a bike by the time they come out of our neighborhood. They wouldn't have stole all bikes.
Were they all part of like Ringling Brothers? They're standing on each other's shoulders and stuff, juggling.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, one of our other neighbors one time, man, we would like go out on the terrace and have a cigarette or whatever, and you know, have a smoke or whatnot, and we'd see somebody walk out. It was this guy, and he'd be dressed like a woman, and we'd see him go.
Okay.
But it happened around fall, so me and my wife were like, no big deal. it's Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Sure,
was like
sure.
around Halloween. You know, you got to about close to November to have Halloween parties or whatever.
Absolutely.
Then some even have in November. So
Yeah, maybe like November 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I think 5th is about the cutoff.
yeah, maybe you can go to 12 because if it's a weekend falls on it,
Okay,
you know.
okay,
So
maybe.
let's say it was like, fall was extending, and we started seeing him multiple times in a dress, like more than once, like, and he's a burly husky dude, and I was like, man, this is kind of weird. So one day we end up starting, like, we ran into the wife. He's got a wife, and my wife started talking, and they started talking. Well, he likes to go dress and drag, I guess. That was his
Oh,
thing.
all right, all right.
So we had a neighbor who used to be dress and drag, and one time I was going to get oil change at the dealership, and he happened to be the guy doing my oil change, dressed like a dude, like a regular dude. And I was like,
Wow.
"What's up? You're my neighbor." And he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" It was just like, and he didn't, he does all about it. It was like his thing, and like everybody knew. It wasn't like somebody he hid, and like that was just him. But that was what he liked to do at night. He liked to go and dress like a woman,
That's bananas.
and that was one of my neighbors.
Now I'll tell you this story, and if I tell this story, this is going to give away exactly where I live, but I'm okay with it. I'm not scared. So, at the end of my block, there's a house that's very different from all the other houses in the neighborhood, and that's because it was the original
It
farmhouse.
sounds like a scary story.
It does sound like a scary
There was
story,
one
but
house.
it's not.
Not like
So-
all the other ones.
So all the houses in my neighborhood are either ranch houses or bungalows. Or if you get down to the one area, they're all like tri-levels. But that's kind of like a weird little area. We don't count that. So
Y'all don't count in his
it,
book.
It don't count.
If you know him, you don't count.
Because they really make up the minority of the house style of the
Ooh.
area. Yeah,
Ooh.
minority. Y'all tri-levels, which I do like tri-level houses. I like the design.
They're kind of neat.
Yeah, they are neat. But they're the minority. That's
They might
for
suck
sure.
in a flood, but they are kind of cool looking.
How explain?
Because if water does get to levels where it's going to come in your house, it's probably going to be in your living room on a tri-level. Like it'd be
Oh,
like in a
shit.
weird,
I
you know
didn't
what I'm
even think
saying?
about-
Like
yeah.
they have those weird levels. Like it might
Yeah.
just come, you'd be watching the TV and whatever, or chilling, playing on your desk, and all of a sudden, kabam, water's
Oh.
what's going on?
Oh yeah.
Our time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, man. I think they're sweet, but that's like probably one of the cons.
Right. That's definitely a con. You don't want water in your crib.
Nobody wants water in the crib.
So anyway, the one house at the end of the block, it's different than all the rest of the houses. It's like a bigger brick version, like it's probably twice the size, and it's all brick, and not the small bricks like the large
It's a brick
house.
House.
It's my
letting it all hang out.
woo.
Sorry, continue.
It's what's them larger bricks? They're not cinder. Are they cinder blocks?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a large cinder block house, but it's like this basic design of a bungalow, but it's double the size.
Okay.
And this house used to be the original
The
farmhouse.
walls are cinder block?
Well, they're like a large brick that's the
Interesting.
size of a cinder block. So I
Okay.
don't know what kind of brick that would be.
It'd be like, you would call it party store wall.
yeah, exactly. Like
Like
party,
it's a party store where you buy
Yeah.
your beer at.
yeah, like that kind of wall. Anyway,
Gotcha.
it's different, yeah, in that way. It's larger, and it used to be the old farmhouse, the original farmhouse from the neighborhood. They owned the whole area, and they sold off all the plots of land. That's why all the houses exist now. They were the original owners of all the area. Anyway, the house has been empty for a long time. There are owners, but they barely ever stay there.
They're ghosts.
So we got there. It was empty for a long time. We had a family of raccoons living in there. And when I say family, you probably out there YouTube, you're thinking, oh, maybe 4 or 5. You're probably thinking maybe 7 or 8 raccoons just running amok, rummaging through your garbage.
Are you
maybe,
talking generations?
maybe bothering your dog and whatnot. No, animal control pulled out 37 raccoons out of this house.
Damn.
Yeah, they completely destroyed the interior of this house. And it's a nice house inside. Got a big wide staircase, got 2 fireplaces. It's a bomb-ass house.
Did I tell you about when I got one in my basement?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm working at the steel shop, and I'm working. All of a sudden, I get a phone call from my mother-in-law, and she's like, "There's a raccoon in the basement. I don't know how to get it out of there. I try to get it out of there. It's in the basement." I'm like, "All right, I'm on my way." So I hang up, come drive home, leave work, and I come over, And I get downstairs, and yep, it's right over in the corner by my washing machine, and it's sitting there looking at me with his like raccoony eyes. He's all looking at me with these reflections. It's like
eyes.
it's like, you know, when it's dark and it's creepy, and all you see those little white dots in the middle, like
Yep.
with the shiny and then the white dot.
Yeah.
It's like straight up horror movie shit. And I just want to throw something automatically. I don't even want to say nothing. I just looked and I was like, there he is. I started sweating already. And then I was like,
He's looking at you with his little burglar eyes.
so I told you I used to feed the ones in the back, you know,
Okay.
once in a while when I'd sit by a fire, hanging out, drinking beers, and they would come take it from you. So I was like, I grabbed a fishing net. So I grabbed,
You used to fish in that?
yeah, I got all pest control. I'm like, I got something. I look around the walls of the basement and I turn the light on, as you know, because that freaky dark eye shit was freaking me out.
Yeah.
So I turn the lights on, and he sees me, and he's like, "Oh shit, it is a human." And I'm like, "It is a raccoon for real." And he's big, man.
They're big.
So
They're big.
yeah, he looked big as hell. It looked like he was sitting on a yoga ball.
They're like
that was
the
his
size
bottom
of
lower
a
half
medium
body.
dog.
It was like an upside down giant pear. Like he was
Yeah.
just big, dude, on the lower part. So I see the fishing net and I grab it. And I go over there and just like hope he's gonna climb in it. I just put it by in front of him, and he just looks at me and then just jumps in my rafters. I'm like, damn. So I was like, what am I doing?
Wait! You thought he, you thought he was just gonna get in the
I was
net?
hoping.
Like, here you go, little buddy.
I was hoping he was
Hop
gonna
on
sense.
in.
He was
Hop
gonna
in.
sense I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. But no, he was
He
like,
looked at
what
that
is
net
this?
and went, "I'm out of here."
He's like, trapper human? And he fucking left.
Yeah.
Jump in my rafter. He's looking at me. And then he's in the dark rafter again. I got the little white dots looking at me again. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. So then I'm like, I got to get creative. So I grabbed some breadsticks upstairs. So we had a pizza and breadsticks. And that's what I should throw out there. So I grabbed some breadsticks, come over back to the raccoon. And then he starts making these little nice little gentle raccoon noises. Like whatever they do. It's like, brrr, I don't know. It sounds like some weird shit. I don't know. Look up a raccoon sound. That's what it was doing. So I go over there with the breadstick. I go next to it, and it starts to be all nice and shit. So I'm like, this looks like maybe the ones I used to feed, right?
Okay.
So I grab one, put the fucking net in the same spot, throw the motherfucker in the net, and he jumps right in and just eats the raccoon. And he's just looking at me with these lovey-dovey eyes while I'm walking him out my house. He's like, shh, and the eyes still look creepy and black while I'm going up my steps.
Was he holding on to the breadstick like with his little paws?
Oh,
like
he was
this?
straight munching. He's like, oh, he's taking me somewhere good. So I walked him outside, took him all the way down across this big field where this bank was. It was like a big old field. I let him out, and he starts running back towards my house.
No
he's like
way.
racing me to my house. I'm trying to chase him and make him change
way.
direction, and he's running back to the house. I'm like, go somewhere else, and he's like, that's where my home is. That's you know what I'm saying? That's where you feed me. And like I was like, get out of here. So
He's like, I'll pay you rent money. Let me post up here for a hot minute.
and if I wouldn't have chased him away, he probably would have had like a bunch of family members like that house.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
It got out of hand. It was crazy.
It was crazy how many raccoons we had running around our neighborhood for a minute. Now it's farther down the block away from me, so I didn't experience too much of this drama. But occasionally, like I'd find some garbage like strewn about. But like I knew people down the block who'd be like, "Yeah, my dog doesn't like going outside anymore because the raccoons be messing with it," and they'll like gang up on your dog.
You ever see like a raccoon flip out on you more than the dog? Like you ever did you ever have
Yes.
one like scare you?
I have not personally, but I have seen videos of it, and they're pretty.
My sister-in-law raised one.
They're not scared of nothing.
My father-in-law, rest in peace, used to be animal control, and they rescued a baby. And my sister-in-law, Emily, shout out Em, she raised him, and this boy got big, man. And it loved her so much. But if you didn't like you, those things were very protective. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, you know, and it knew when it was going to punk you. Like, it knew when you were, like, slipping. It was crazy because you're looking at it, and it ain't trying nothing. And it's when you're not looking is when it's going to be like, that's when it was going to fuck with you. And you're like, well, then it got you all fucked up and tense. Now you're watching his ass. Then he's looking at you like, yep, I got you. I got you. And then now you're watching him the whole time you're there. And it's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to give you this pretzel now, and I just ate it. I'm like, I ain't giving you it now.
Oh, that's funny. You got to give him the food, man. You got to give him something. Oh man,
Raccoons ain't no joke.
no, raccoons ain't no joke.
They're like that sneaky smart.
They are smart. They're super smart. I mean, they figure out how to take the caps off of bottles. They can open bags.
They'll take your car if you leave the doors unlocked.
Oh, absolutely. If you leave the keys in it, they'll put that bad boy in reverse, pull out your driveway, and go to your job, do your 9 to 5, and come back and take your paycheck.
And they'd probably pull it off if it was me because we got like the same hair.
Basically. I could hawk up loogies like nobody's business.
I bet.
So, me and my wife are excited. One of our shows that we were watching has a second season. Finally got back. It's called In the Dark.
In the Dark.
Yeah, it's about a blind girl who works at a guide dog veterinarian facility.
Service dog.
Yes, sir. That's it. Service dog facility where they train service dogs.
Okay.
And she
Neat.
blind and she works there. It's actually a pretty cool show. It has some weird twists and turns.
Is it more like a drama? Is it like more like a drama?
Well, let me see here. The first season, her friend who she would meet outside to basically just smoke a cigarette with. You know, she only knew this person in that kind of fashion. She would meet outside of her apartment. Like,
Now, I got a question.
I haven't even told you anything. You have a question?
She's blind, right?
She's blind.
Does she like use a walking stick, or
She
you know,
does,
like the
and she
area
also-
she works, or
She has a walking stick, and she also uses a service dog. The dog's name is Pretzel.
okay, my bad. I was curious about that when she went out for the smoke break.
All right, so she meets this person, this individual,
Okay.
who works as a drug dealer, and he really doesn't want to be a part of this association. Well, anyway, he gets murdered, and so she goes on this hunt to figure out who killed him because the cops aren't really helping to figure it all out. They're not really doing diddly squat. And
They're like lazy cops or shady cops.
both.
Okay.
And at the end of the first season, which if y'all haven't watched it by now, you're SOL, because I'm gonna give it away.
Yeah, because when we do stuff here, it's always going to be spoilers. So if you didn't watch it by now, change the channel or whatever, or fast forward that little part. Continue, sir.
So at the end of the season, she basically discovers that she hooks up with a cop. She starts dating him. They're banging. It's all kind of hot and heavy. She finds out he's the guy who murdered her friend.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's how the season ends. And now,
Like a cliffhanger like that.
basically a cliffhanger. Yeah, basically. And then the start of this first season, the very start of it, now they're working for the organization who her friend who got murdered worked for, and now they're selling heroin and laundering money through the guide dog service place.
Damn.
I know, it's pretty wild.
That's a front and a half.
You would not expect this to all come out of a show about a blind chick, but it's actually it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show.
It's called what now?
In the Dark or
In
Left.
the Dark.
It's either Left
You
in
know,
the Dark.
that's a cool. You could play that both ways because it'd be us that is left in the dark in the public that don't see that front, and she's running that dope money and all that stuff through there. That's crazy.
I think it's more of the fact that she's blind, so she's always in the dark. I think it's more like that.
But still, you wouldn't think of a place that trained service dogs would be a heroin front.
That's true.
Organization.
Or a
I
money,
think it goes both ways.
a money
like,
laundering front.
yeah, like it goes both ways. Like to me, that's kind of neat.
I think there's another group who's doing the same thing. I think they have a way better front. They use one of those arcades, one of those kids arcade places.
All right.
I think that's a way better front because everything's all cash.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think that's a way better money
Well,
laundering
no, most
front.
arcades now got them game cards.
Yeah, but don't you still need cash? Don't you have to put money on the card? Don't you have to give them cash usually?
Well, I mean, if they don't have cash, they probably still use a card of some
Or,
sort.
or if it's a token system, you know, a lot of those places, and I remember when I was a kid, you
Yeah,
always
you
had to
could
get
put tokens.
tokens, and you had to pay for the tokens.
Yeah.
And so that's still a cash system. I don't know. I think it's a good front. I think it's a better, because really a service dog facility, most of those places are nonprofit. They run off of donations. So wouldn't that be a little bit more difficult to handle with the IRS? Like how you gonna manage big money drops without somebody donating?
Well, that's how it'd just be a numbers game. 'Cause
Yeah.
basically, especially if it's like a place based off donations, like a Salvation Army, those places are like ghost houses. You just keep them all looking like the way they're supposed to look, and you could do whatever you want, probably.
I don't know. But yeah, that's the show I've been watching. I'm digging it. We're already almost done with it. We binge watched most of it in 2 days.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I love today's TV.
I feel in the dark with a lot of these awesome shows. Like I gotta pick a show. I can't watch all these shows at once, but I gotta pick one and finish it or whatever. But there's so
I
many
know what
good
you
ones.
mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So tough. It's so
Like-
tough.
Like this is the last season of the 100, and you know what? This is what's weird about me. Once I find out it's the last season of something, I kind of lose interest. I'm like, oh, okay. And I will tell you why. Back in the day, back in the 90s, there was a TV show called
yeah.
Mantis. Do you remember the show?
Oh, I got one worse than that, but go ahead.
Do you know the show?
Yes. I
Black-
never watched it, but I know the show.
Black scientist. He was wheelchair bound. He builds this super suit so that he can actually move. And he goes out and he starts to fight crime with this suit. And it's an awesome show. It's like so like it's got all the technology, it's got wit, it's got cool bad guys, and they kill his ass in the last episode with an invisible Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Damn.
Fuck you, TV. That is the
That's
reason
a shitty
why
ending.
when I know it's the last season of a show and a show is coming to an end, I start to lose interest because of that show let me down so hard that happened.
There's a couple shows that do that right now. That did that too. Lost.
There's another
That was
show.
a shitty show that ended all stupid. To me, sorry if you guys are Lost fans, but that was a horrible ending.
I was so into that show, and when it ended the way it ended, I was extremely upset. It's another one that was another nail in the coffin that made me get mad at television.
How about Walking Dead?
Another show I lost interest in.
These guys are like everybody knows about the comic now, so then everybody got excited because they knew it was going to happen. And you're all
Right.
trying to change stuff, and
Right.
it got bad.
It got real
It
bad.
got bad.
And I was super into it. I think I lost interest at the season where the dude with the baseball bat came in.
Oh man,
That's when I lost interest in the show. I had already been a
it was
huge
like
fan.
his name was Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah.
No, it was Negan, but there's a model named Chrissy Teigen. I just thought it was
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Christy Teigen?
She's like a model,
I was
but,
going to say that name sounds familiar.
but the guy's name was Negan, so I
Yeah.
thought I'd make fun of it because he's a biatch.
Bad joke. You
You
deserve,
just didn't get it.
Well, you deserve a thumbs up trophy.
You just didn't get it.
Okay, you just didn't get it. Whatever. You know, I just didn't hear your words
But
because
Walking Dead did
I
run out of
didn't
shit.
give a damn. But yes, Walking Dead, I lost interest in that. And it was a good show. It had its run, but I think they let it run on too long. You guys should have killed everybody off at some point, or instead of killing everybody off, solved the zombie apocalypse.
Then they got desperate for ratings, and they had that weird ass sex scene where the chick wore the zombie face and made out had
What?
sex with that dude with the bat.
No way.
Yes, they were like desperate for ratings. The chick puts on the zombie flesh. She wears it in the show, and she fucking banged Negan or Spigen, whatever his name is, Schliegen, we'll call him. She was banging him with the zombie face on, like but real
Schlonigen.
flesh. It was like real rotting zombie flesh.
Ugh.
And she would wear the mask. Like people that watch the show would know her name. I don't know her name, but she would wear it all the time, like Leatherface type shit.
That sounds nasty.
And they had a sex scene while she wore it.
I'll pass. I'm good. And then now I'll tell you what. There was a show,
Gross.
the chick who was, I can't remember her name, but the chick who was dating the Asian dude in the show. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Anyways, the dude who gets killed with the baseball bat where they beat him to death.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The chick who was with him, she went on to do another TV show
right.
where they were like spies or something. Cool show. Loved it. Me and my wife, super into it. They did like 2 seasons and then 86'd it. I was like, come on, what are you doing? It was a good show. They could have done a lot more with it. And I don't know. It had a great idea. They had a nice little team. It was kind of like that Mission Impossible meets what was that? The Italian Job type thing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of high energy, a lot of good little quibs and jokes, and they just got rid of that. I liked it.
Just zipped it up.
Zipped it right up.
Damn shame.
It was a damn shame. Oh, here, okay. Let me get to this one. How about this? They made a TV show about Lethal Weapon. Did you see that?
The comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to watch one episode. It was lame as hell.
So the guy who was one of the Wayans brothers, right?
I thought it was like Sandberg.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, the one guy, he didn't even want to do the show.
It was one of them bad. I think Sandberg is in another bad cop show. They were bad. I don't even know.
And then the other guy who was like the crazy renegade, he was supposed to be Mel Gibson's character from the original Lethal Weapon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that guy, he ended up pissing some people off by some shit that he said, and he got fired from the show. So they hired Scott Scott, what the hell is his name? The guy who did that
Scott Baio. No, I'm just kidding.
no, the guy who did that movie with The Rock. Scott
Shawn Michael Scott.
Shawn Michael Scott.
Stifler?
Yes.
Stifler?
Yes. They hired Stifler to work on it. And I did not watch a single episode after that because I was just like, this is going to be trash. And it was trash. And you ruined a good show. It was decent. I liked it. You ruined it. Thanks again, Netflix.
I happened to watch a good show recently over the weekend.
Okay.
It was called Down to Earth with Zac Efron.
Oh, what's this about?
And it was pretty badass, man. He had like Anthony Bourdain type feel / Bear Grylls, survival type stuff, like where they had to eat whatever, eat some foods, and he would try some of the things that everybody did out there, the locals and shit like that would do.
Yeah.
Some of their traditions or whatnot. It was a real interesting, man. It was fun. He had a health guru with him, and it was them two guys just traveling to different parts of the world, and they were just experiencing what like those places have to offer, and it was awesome.
Cuisine have to offer is just cuisine,
food, and like what the country just provides and things like that. Like they went to Iceland, which was one of my favorite parts of the show, and man, they were showing how they have no carbon footprint. These guys like cook off their land. It was just crazy how all their energy came because it's like basically volcanoes everywhere there, and it was just really amazing. The water was so purified with minerals there. Like all their water there, they like it wasn't just for hydration. They had like a water bar there. Like you'd get water for hydration, and they would also have, like medical uses with their water.
That's wild.
And it was just so amazing. I watched them drink this water from Australia. And it was
so
thick.
were they still in Iceland though?
Yes.
Okay.
So they went to this water bar. They had like a water like barista kind of guy.
And what they had like waters from all over the world or something?
Yeah, and some of them were like specially made specifically through, some of these guys is like these crazy, like Iceland has some crazy technology with their water purifications because it's so pure there with all the minerals you get from the volcanic,
That's interesting.
things like happening there.
Yeah.
And so basically they're like, creation places of Earth, like kind of like all the other places like Yellowstone and whatnot. And so anyways, they use the energy of the volcanoes, and they use all that stuff for their electricity mixed with the water and all these things like that. They do all this cool technology, and it's amazing. Like I said, they had this water from Australia, and it was really thick. It was like it had a thick consistency.
No, that's weird.
They were pouring the water, and everybody was just amazed at the flavor. Like they were like, water actually has like a flavor. Like it was just delicious water.
When you say thick, like what was the consistency? Like syrup?
It almost looked like wine. You know how kind of wine rides a glass a little bit.
Yep.
It was doing kind of that, and they were drinking it, and then it was just it was so interesting, man. Like that was one of my favorite episodes. I think there's 8 episodes it's only one season so far, and that was one of my favorites.
What's it called again?
It's called Down to Earth.
I'm going to have to check that out.
So,
this is another show that you're recommending that I'm going to have to check out because the last show you recommended to me, I got balls deep into that. And we'll get on that in a minute. Let me let you finish.
Yeah, man. So he goes to other places all over the world. And there was this one, like I said, Iceland was so amazing. I could go on for that place, man, because it was just so cool. Like some of the produce from some of the water, the things they do that happens chemically and everything with the water they produce, the water comes out like a milk. It looks like a milky color water, and you swim in it. They have and it has like medical, medical purposes. Like people go there with skin problems, and they get treatments for like skin ailments or like psoriasis type shit, and it cures it.
It's like the milk of the earth.
It's amazing, man. The water's it looks like milk, like milky water, like 2% milk.
But you think about that metaphorically. Milk is like life-giving essence for like children, right?
Yeah, milk and honey.
Milk and honey. So you think about that. That's the milk of the earth if it's got healing properties.
Yeah, man. It was so wild. Then they had some other waters. They had this one water. It looked like a regular sealed bottle, but when they opened it, it looked like it started bubbling. Like it had some kind of carbonation.
It was carbonated. Okay.
So they poured in the water. It looked like it bubbled up like champagne. And then when they drank it, it was like the champagne stuff was gone. It was just regular water. It had like a weird reaction with the oxygen. And that one had a bunch of vitamins. They said you could see little like floaties in it, but those were like good for you.
Oh, they're good floaties.
Everything was like good for you. It was so wild. But my favorite, they had this bottle. They said there was 4 people there tasting waters. And they were the only 4 people from America that ever tried this water because you can't ship it here. You can't do anything like that unless you're like, maybe if you're some kind of billionaire dude, I don't know. But like me and you can't get it off Amazon or nothing like that. This water's like real rare.
Have you ever heard somebody say that those are good floaties? I mean, like
Yeah,
Like
those floaties are good.
those floaties. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, them floaties are good for you. You drink that shit. It's like the pulp and the orange juice. It's good for you.
It's like, hey man, there's something in this water. Yeah, man, those floaties are good for you though.
That's vitamins and nutrients. You want them floaties in your body.
Yeah, and so they drank this one. They opened up that water, and it almost had like they said it almost tastes like an Alka-Seltzer or something. That's what they were comparing it to.
Interesting.
So they were saying, the guy was saying, well, that water has high magnesium. And they were saying, like,
Ah.
everybody on the planet is low in that in their bodies.
Yep,
And he's like,
yep.
you just got, like, your body just got, like, a boost of, like, something that it needed so bad. And it probably needed it for a long time.
That's crazy.
And so then he went to this other country. It sounded like sardines, but I think it's like Sardinia.
I don't know. I'm terrible with geography.
So this place had, like, the oldest living people in the world. Like, they're like, the most people that live over 100.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this little island, I think it's by Italy or something, man, and it just looks like their diet, just the food they have around them, the way they're so active, and like these people just all live like way well into their hundreds. And he even meets a guy, like I think he's 103 or something, and they walk with him down to his favorite little spot and get wine. And
That's
like
crazy.
it's cool, dude. It's like it was so interesting. Like I said, it's one I think you would like it, man. It's a great scenery. They go all over the world.
Yeah.
But those are just some that I'd like to pinpoint just because they were like my own favorites, you know. And there's like, I think 8 episodes, like I said, and he goes all over these beautiful places. He even trips out on some, you know how people do that ayahuasca and all that
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of shit.
yeah.
Well, there was this one shit, man. It was like these leaves, and they say if you boil them, they'll have this like hallucinogenic properties.
Okay.
So it almost looked like. It almost looked like they were gonna cook him. Like they made this big, they were boiling this big giant pot. It almost looked like he could fit in, and they have you sitting.
Oh shit! Like in the old days, you'd see Bugs Bunny getting cooked in the pot.
Something like that.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
They're like relaxing him as they slide this big giant pot of boiling hallucinogenic plants under him,
Oh,
and it looks like he could fit in it. So he's on this little like bird birch. They got him like on this like human sized like bird birch like thing. Perch. I'm sorry, bird perch. I'm all bird birch. Bird birch.
birch.
Yeah, the bird birch. So
Yeah, the
anyways,
birch.
he's on this like perch thing, and he's all like covered in water or whatever. And then they put this tarp over him and that thing with the boiling hallucinogenic leaves.
So he had to hotbox it.
Yeah, like they put you in there after, and you're sitting in there, and I guess it could last like 10 hours or something.
So it's like a sauna of hallucinogenic.
yeah, of some crazy
gases.
stuff, and the leaves are like huge, they look like lily pads, and it has some kind of properties when you boil it.
How long do they put you in there?
They put you in for only a few minutes, but I guess the effects can last for up to 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours.
Ooh, that's a
So
ride.
then him and that health guru guy do this, and then they stand over to smoke and do all these rituals in this one country. And man, it was a great show. It was so entertaining and really knowledgeable too. Like, you know, I bet you that in TripAdvisory or whatever the fuck was one of them sponsors because you could see it on their phone. Those guys are probably blowing up after that show because everywhere looks so amazing to go to.
You know everybody wants to go there, especially they're like, wait a minute, I can step into a hallucinogenic sauna and take a trip for about 10 hours. Count me in.
Yeah, man, because everything was just amazing. I would like to go to every one of those places.
That sounds amazing. I want to do it. You told me also that people were like cooking their breakfast right off the off the lava rocks. And
yeah,
stuff?
they would move these like the lava rocks, and they would boil the eggs. They cooked the bread.
What they put like a pan or something down, or just
No,
right on
just
the
right in the
rocks?
water, and they would take the eggs right out. But then they would put a pan under there, shrink wrap it with plastic, put it under there 24 hours, come back out. It was like a bread. But what the American guys, like the Guru and Zac Efron guys, said, they compared it to cake.
Okay.
They're like, it tastes like cake. And these guys are like, yeah, we make this all the time. But it takes 24 hours to cook. And they cook it in the lava. And then they cooked eggs. They made all these meals. It was awesome.
Not the lava, the hot springs, right?
They like would use like they would just like smooth the gravel over, and water would be there bubbling under the gravel. And they would just cook out of there.
That's crazy. I got to check this show out.
It was
'cause
cool, man.
I want to see that now. Because it's been so hot here, I've wondered if I could cook eggs like on the concrete or some shit.
Yeah, so I was bummed that it was only eight episodes because I wanted to watch more.
Did you do all 8?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
So then
Okay.
me and my wife, we started watching Alone.
Ooh.
And if you don't know about that show yet, I'm new to it. I've heard about it all over the place, seeing some of the contestants on Rogan. So
Yep.
I started on the Netflix side because that's the older episode. So I'm gonna catch up on the new side. I think
Okay.
it's actually on, like, there's new stuff going on right
Yeah,
now.
what is it on, like, with the new stuff?
I forget what channel it is, but
Some cable channel that I don't watch.
it's probably like National Geographic, Discovery. Who knows? I'll have to look up and see what channel it is. Something like that. Who knows? but it's amazing. I'm watching the Netflix series right now, and you get dropped off in this place in the Arctic. It's like somewhere up in like Canada's Arctic area, something like that.
So it's cold.
Very.
That's
So
not fun.
it's you and 10 people. Let's say 10 people together, all together. You're not into you don't start together. You guys are in all different places.
Oh, okay, okay. Everybody's
You're
got
not
their
like
own starting
there's no
location.
team, there's no alliances, there's no nothing like that. You're solo. That's why
Okay.
it's called alone. Then you get to pick 10 items of your choice, whatever the hell it is. You get to pick those 10 items to bring with you.
Wow.
But not only that, there's a little twist to that. You also got to carry your own fucking camera, your own camera crew, dude. You got this 70-pound.
So you have to be the camera crew
Yeah.
and survive?
So you got a 75-pound camera fucking kit with whatever the 10 items you bring.
Nah, I'm done. I'm already out. Or how much money can you make?
So
if
you got to
win?
whoever lasts the longest out of survival wins like $1 million, and it's just so entertaining, man. The stuff that people like, they're so innovative. You know what I mean? It's like all the stuff they can come up with, and a lot of people were taught this from Boy Scouts or taught from this whatever, and
Right,
or even
right.
like just watching the internet, learning them. Those guys are like all about it. From some of them guys are super hunters. Some of them guys like. Some of the even women out there like to just go and live off the land for a certain amount of time, and they come back. And one girl said they did it for a year and a half, and so they, these people are all about the contest. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it gets crazy. Some people have a hard time getting food. Some people getting cut out because of injuries, and you're
Really?
out there in the middle of nowhere. So they give you like a satellite phone so you can tap out.
Oh, I gotcha.
You get
yeah,
one little satellite
you're
phone.
literally alone. It's not like you remember the back in the day there was some shows like some survival shows, but there would be a camera crew with them.
Yeah.
So if they couldn't make it,
It
like,
looked phony. Like
well,
they probably had doctors in the background. or
yeah,
something.
there was one show I used to watch where it was a dude. He would try to go survive in different environments,
Uh-huh.
and he would try to show you how. But he always had a camera crew with him. So it's like, dude, you ain't trying to survive. You got people with you.
Like Bear Grylls would do that. He would
Yeah.
take you out there and eat off the land and show you how to do all that stuff. But this was like that, but for real. Like these guys were like, man, one guy ate a bad, he caught a rodent. I forget what it was, a muskrat, I think.
Okay.
So he was an experienced hunter, man. He took this fucking thing out, right? And then he skins it and he pulls out the stomach. Right away, he pulls out the bladder and he goes, look, you see these little parasites in the stomach. You see all these worms in the stomach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He goes, I got to be careful how I cook this or I could get sick myself. So he talking all that shit, and next thing you know, my man got sick, dude. He ended up having to tap out. He got sick, fucked up, and I guess he was like only 39 years old, but I guess he had a heart attack,
Whoa.
and he had what they call the widowmaker or whatever, and
What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's like I guess a bad heart attack, and because I guess it's one you don't survive or whatever,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so he was all afraid about because he was getting sick, man. He wasn't getting better,
That's
so
not
he
good.
tapped out. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
And
That was weak, by the way. You can do better.
another person was eating food and got sick, but he got through it. He got through it. Another one guy broke his leg and had to get tapped out.
Oh, that sucks.
And man, I'm just hooked in right now on like the earlier seasons, and it's fucking awesome. One dude is just a badass hunter, man. This dude took out all these guys are trying to fish and try all this shit, man. But this one guy, he's just so calm and laid back. And he looks like I don't know if he's home, like if he just lives out there like for real, like that's just his life, because that's
Right.
what it looked. He just looks so calm.
and he was just making it.
He made this little crib out of moss and wood and all this shit, man. It's all insulated, and other people were making cool shit, but this dude was like, and he's all chilled out, like, I gotta try to catch me some animals, and I'm gonna set my snare, and hopefully I'll catch me some food. And I swear, I'm not even. That's how he saw it, and just laid back. He was like he just was in his like element to
Yeah.
the fullest. His first day out, snared like 4 or 5 rabbits or some shit.
Oh, wow.
He was just, and everybody else was just freaking out, crying, and couldn't even shit, like hoping they had a candy bar. We were all like tripping because they couldn't catch nothing.
That sucks. I'm going to have to check this show out.
My man, hey, that dude, I'm telling you, that laid back dude caught a moose.
Whoa.
Took a moose out. Now he's
Hey.
got like a whole kind of food source.
Yeah, he's got food for a year.
While these other people eating wormed ass fucking rodents and fucking fish that are fucking getting them all sick. And this dude's fucking eating good. Like my man caught a fish and the fish had baby eggs, but he don't know how long the fish was sitting in his little fish trap. So he's like, oh, these things are probably so good and I need the protein. He just started slurping raw fish eggs in his mouth. And
Ugh.
didn't know how long the fish was. Like if the fish was fresh, those would have been good.
Yeah.
They even tell you in the thing, if those were fresh, he would have been all right.
But they
being
weren't
that
fresh.
fish was all soft, it was probably dead for a while. So he's eating all these things. Now he got sick. My man was all like he got all fucked up. And it was just an entertaining show, man. While my man's chilling back with a big fat moose, eating moose burgers and shit, like he's all like, man, he's all laid back while those guys are all getting sick. You go back to him, and you're just laughing your ass off, man. He's just like,
He's down
well,
on Easy Street.
I hope I can just keep the meat from spoiling.
I mean, they're in Alaska. How hard is it going to be to keep it from spoiling? Or
Well,
is
it's not a. It's called. They say that's the Arctic, and it's somewhere by like Canada and where the Arctic and Canada meet somewhere.
Oh,
I forget what it's called. They say the name there, and it's pretty wild, dude. And it's so entertaining. And it's also like really knowledgeable too. Like if you ever had to survive yourself, they're like such good tips they give you.
Kind of teach you a thing or two.
It's fun, dude.
That's cool.
And that
man.
laid back guy, man. I almost feel like he's gonna win. I almost feel like he's just gonna get like all kinds of food in there.
So, that sounds great. What is it called again?
It's called Alone.
Alone. I gotta check this out. I'm gonna have to check this out. I'll probably have to watch that show by myself.
What would be your 10 items?
See, that's the thing. Like,
Or like, what can you think of like now? Like if you had to think of a few items, like maybe me and you can combine us to make 10.
I'm thinking you're gonna need some kind of cutting implement, right? So you're gonna need a knife of some kind.
Or like those guys were packing this cool little like hand pole saw thing. This thing was like it would cut big ass trees and everything.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like a machete. It looks like a machete with an axe head, and it's got a saw on the back.
No, it like folded. It would look like a straight up saw. It was a straight up saw only, and it would just fold, and it was easy to pack away. And everybody had it. It was about that big. It would fold up to a nice saw, and everybody used it to make their houses and their fucking kindling
That's
and shit.
awesome.
And they had some guys would have a hatchet, some guys would have different stuff like that. Everybody had a bow. It seemed like everybody had a bow.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bow, and I was gonna suggest a rope saw. I don't know if you've ever seen a rope saw.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They're easy to pack away. I didn't know about this saw you're talking about, so I'd probably get one of those. Because a rope saw, you can just kind of like do like this. And
So what are we at? 2 or 3?
I'm at 3. So
Okay.
I'm gonna need a knife, a bow, a saw,
Okay.
and then
Some kind of fishing line and hooks.
Yep. You're gonna need some fishing line and some tackle.
Yep.
But does each piece of tackle count as an item?
I'm not sure about that. That might be something. That's why you might just need a fishing line and some hooks.
Yeah. So more than one hook. Does each hook count as an item?
Not sure. Maybe
Ah,
2
man.
hooks. Maybe
Might-
you got to find something. Ooh. So yeah. So where are we at? 4 items.
Maybe you'd have to just get a bunch of piercings, and then those would be your hooks.
I don't know if you'd want those in the cold weather.
But so what else? What do you think?
Definitely some sort of rope.
What about like you're gonna need some sort of like I don't know if you've ever seen these, but it's like a forever match. It doesn't matter how many times you strike it, it'll always light. Have you ever seen those? They're great
Yep.
for survival.
I would like one of those strikers. Those they got those pole strike, those things you scrape and it makes them big sparks.
Yeah, that's what this is.
It's like whoosh, you just do it with your knife blade and it fucking makes a big spark.
But this is like forever. It'll always light. You can strike it and it'll always light, so you can make fire real easy. So you're gonna want one of those, and it's made of metal, so it doesn't matter if it gets wet. So you're gonna need something like that.
Sleeping bag, highly insulated sleeping bag.
Or you could just not be a bitch and kill you an animal and make you a sleeping bag.
Yeah, if you're a good hunter like my laid back dude,
Right,
I
he's
guess
got a-
I'll just kill me a moose coat.
He's got a whole moose that he's sleeping in.
Yeah.
Woo! Are you gonna need something so you can like filter water?
What about like tarps? You need a tarp so you can make some kind of waterproof. If you're gonna use the land for your like shelter, you need a tarp to keep the water out.
Yeah.
Keep it above your head.
Yeah, that's true.
Little fold-up tarp.
I'm sure them guys do without. I bet they make stuff out of like leaves and mud to make some kind of walls.
But they all brought tarps too. They all had tarps. Like a lot of them had tarps
No
to keep
kidding.
the water out. Yep.
See,
And then
there's
they built all this cool shit and they insulated with the moss. Like this one dude was like, "This is like Earth's insulation." He's cutting big sheets of moss and just like packing it in there. It was so
that's
cool, man.
awesome. I have to check this out. I don't know enough. I'm just a city boy. I'm probably just gonna die out in the wilderness.
And they automatically, the first aid kit doesn't count. They automatically give you one.
Oh well, that's nice. That's
Which is
good
good.
that doesn't count because that would be bullshit.
And the
if-
phone too. They give you the phone in case you want to tap out.
okay. Well, yeah, that can't count as an item. They have to give you that because it's part of the show. I'm sure.
Yep.
How many did everybody tap out but the moose guy?
So far, there's the one I'm watching right now. There's 7 people left.
What are you on, like season 1 or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like seven people left right now where I'm at.
So I watched, not to change gears, but to change gears. I'm gonna do it, but I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it because
I'm gonna make a Michigan left right now.
Yeah, we're gonna make a whole Yui on the Michigan Ave, and that Yui's gonna go right into Home Game. I watched all of that.
That was so awesome.
That show had me fired up. Now, you all know this who watch.
It had me questioning my true abilities, the way I'm testing myself.
As a man. Oh,
Yes.
I'll bet it did. Now, y'all know, as I'm sure you from watching the show, I don't really follow sports. Not to say I'm not interested in sports. I just don't really follow sports. I'm not a big follower. He follows them. I don't really follow it. This show had me rooting for guys. Had me going, yeah. I was all getting loud. My wife's like, "What's going on in here?" It fired me up. We need to bring these shows here. When them guys were playing that game on horseback with a dead goat,
Yeah, that was wild.
what in the hell makes you think a dead goat is a great way to a great item to use as a ball or whatever else?
Yeah. It was those guys, all the guys that were bad at polo. All the guys that were bad at polo couldn't hit that little ball in polo, had to use a bigger goat
Yeah,
head.
we're just gonna use a goat instead.
Yeah, we're
use a
like, you
dead
got
goat.
polo, we got, oh no,
Yeah, we just got a dead goat. But
goat.
ooh, that was weak. But that show was great. And then the guys who played that like Ultimate Warrior Animal Ball in the very first
Dude,
episode,
that right there had me so amped up watching those guys. And those guys had like regular jobs. They're
They
like
had regular
once
jobs.
a year, it's like, all right, man, you ready? I'll see you tomorrow. The guys that work together and shit got regular jobs, go volunteer, and they just go beat the bloody goodness out of each other.
My man was ripped. He was more shredded than I've seen a UFC fighter. And the guy was I think like a financial analyst or something like that. He looked like he worked at a computer pushing spreadsheets all day.
Oh my gosh.
And this guy, in his spare time, he plays a sport where he beats the hell out of
and he
other
happens,
dudes.
Yeah, and he happens to have a jaw of steel. You know what I'm saying?
Steel.
Like hands of concrete, and they're just like not no Roberto Duran type shit. These guys are just fucking. Oh my gosh! And
These
they
guys.
just be standing, dude. That shit had me amped up.
And the roller derby with oh my God, the
Yeah.
roller derby episode. These chicks are bombing on each other.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know I knew
I
roller
grew up
der-
watching it as a kid. It was so fun, man. It would come on late night TV, man, and those girls would beat each other down, man.
I didn't know
I
roller
would see
derby.
some serious injuries on like late night regular TV. It wasn't even cable; it was
I can
regular
imagine.
TV.
I mean, you're on skates with a tank squad. You got a bunch of girls, tank squad, just pounding on these little skinny girls. That's your, what do they call the ones that are supposed to get around and score the points? I forget what they call
I
them.
forget, but not only that, they're on a slanted course, so if you slow down, you're going down either way. So it's
Yeah.
like you always got to keep pushing. So you're gonna have there's mad collisions, dude. Mad collisions.
Them girls were rough and tough, and they do that on their spare time. They're not even getting paid, are they?
I'm not sure, but back in the day, they used to have like real famous teams. Back in the day, they were like, it was really pumping when I was younger.
Wow, I really dug it.
I don't know what it's like now, but back in the day, it was like it got popular. It had like a good little run, like where it got like pretty hot.
Yeah, that show had me amped. We need to bring. I mean, a lot of the sports we have here are very they're very cushy in a way. You know what I mean? Like all the blood and guts has been taken out of
They
sports.
took fighting away from hockey.
Yes.
That killed hockey. Those guys were already getting their faces hurt and broken out. They were taking the damage like football players, and they don't even make that much money. But they were making good money when you could fight, when they had enforcers.
They put too many timeouts into football and too many commercial breaks and too much padding on that sport.
No, and now there's too many flags too, man. You got all these referees just
Yeah,
flag.
Get your flags out of here and throw the pigskin for
Kick
crying
off.
out loud.
It's like the kickoff of the game, flag. First down, flag. Second down, flag. 2 plays, flag.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God,
And then
boring.
it's commercial for like 4 hours, then flag.
And then
Right when you get back, flag.
I'm not even gonna get into MLB. Once you took the steroids out of MLB, it got boring.
Look, there's a reason they put a 7th inning stretch in a baseball game. It's because they want to make sure you're alive. Because the
That's
shit can be
true.
boring sometimes.
Yes.
They're already talking about trying to make the game shorter. You want to know what to make the game shorter? Make it 5 innings.
Yeah, that's probably a good
You'll
idea.
put pressure on them guys that can play baseball till they're 55 because it's fucking baseball.
Right.
It's basically it's baseball.
It is. It's baseball.
I could play baseball.
I could play baseball.
Look,
I
there's a
mean-
position for everybody. Am I a pitcher? No. Am I a first baseman? Yes. Can I be a second baseman? Yeah. Somewhere where I don't got to run a lot? Yes, I could put me in there.
Put me in the outfield. Why not? I mean, I'm not as big as Cecil Fielder, so I'm pretty sure I can play baseball.
Let's do it. I'm just saying.
And if y'all don't know who Cecil Fielder is, look him up. He used to play for the Detroit Tigers.
That's right. and his son played for the Tigers too.
Yes, he did.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a reason for that 7th inning stretch. They got to make the game shorter. Maybe make it 7 innings, like where the stretches, like you just get to go home.
I think you'd probably be like a Lou Whitaker.
I don't know, man. I'd probably be a shortstop. I think I'm pretty fast. I think I could be a first shortstop.
Okay.
Not right now,
All
but
right.
when I was younger.
All right.
Right now, they would move me to like a slower position right now.
Yeah.
They'd
I
be
don't
like,
know.
you're going to be the guy that stands in the first base box and cheers on the guy that's really playing.
But the whole point of this wrong turn
First
was
base
to say,
coach.
is to say that some of these sports that they do over in England and Europe, with the caber toss, holy shit, and when they're throwing them stones. But anyway, my point is, we need some cooler sports. We need some more brutal sports. We need some manly
For
sports
real.
that exercise some masculinities. And you football players, I'm not saying you're not manly. You guys are huge. You work your asses off. You take big hits.
I'll tell you what, there is a sport here in Michigan that is only in Michigan from what I
What
know.
is
And
it?
I know people from a lot of places all over the fucking place, through my social medias, through family, through all this. There's a sport here that I think would take off globally.
What?
Volleyball.
I have heard of volleyball.
I used to play volleyball, and alcohol's involved because it always had there was a bar at whatever
Yep.
racquetball club that let you play.
Yep.
They put a fucking volleyball net across a racquetball court.
Yep.
You get a volleyball, and all things go. You can spike off the wall, spike off people's faces. It was just crazy. You could fall into the net because you were drinking at the same time. Volleyball.
Volleyball is definitely a brutal sport because somebody's going to get their face smashed.
Somebody's
by a ball.
eating the wall. You know how many people would eat the wall?
Oh,
and in a
yeah.
racquetball club, man, I don't know if you guys know about this, have been in a racquetball club. You could run, all you athletic people and non-athletic people that tried it.
Right.
No, in a racquetball club, you could at least get 3 to 5 steps up that wall. So people are trying to run up and do crazy spikes and end up landing on somebody's face and shoulder. And, oh, man, you see collarbones get taken out. Volleyball. Bring it.
Volleyball, bring it.
Bring that volleyball shit.
Yeah, that's a good sport. Yeah, it's just not enough cool televised sports to hold my interest. You know, if we brought back gladiatorial matches back where they killed each other, almost like that. What was that first episode? What was the name of that sport?
Oh, I forget. I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's an Italian name.
It's an Italian sport. Look into it. It was amazing, and these guys are badasses. And it's bare knuckle boxing meets I don't know, like soccer, but you play it with your hands.
I would put it together like this. I would say it's football, rugby, UFC, and probably
hockey, but no sticks.
probably what else would I would say? Yeah, I think that's it. Football, rugby, soccer, and UFC.
No pads.
No bitches.
No bitches. And
No
straight,
bitch assness.
Straight
There's no room for bitch assness
fists
there.
to your face.
You'll be disgraced.
It was amazing.
So,
What's up?
do you ever notice that like there's no more like symptoms left when they show like those prescription pill commercials?
What do you mean symptoms left?
Like when they show this new commercial, like it'll be another name, like this is Glimqual, and this shit fucking. Do you sleep when you are tired, and then when you get up when you're not sleeping anymore? Well, then you need this pill. Like all the like, there's no more like symptoms left. Do you fart? Do you sleep? Do you
Yeah.
have tired going to sleep? Do you have diarrhea? Do you like sometimes like what the hell? Like I don't understand. Like which one am I supposed to feel?
If you have diarrhea and then you feel constipated, take both of these pills at the same time and it will relieve you.
Do you breathe hard when you run? Like no shit.
Are you thirsty?
You need this pill.
Do you blink too much?
That's what I'm talking about. Like when you're tired, you are sleepy.
Do
Take
you,
this pill.
Do you like to pick your nose too much? Take this pill.
For real.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly
There's
what you mean.
nothing. There's nothing left for them pills to do.
There is a pill for everything. Are your toenails too long? Take this pill.
You want some hair? Here's the pill.
Here's a pill for this hair.
Need a boner? Here's
Here-
a pill.
Here's a hair for this pill.
Now they got a chick boner pill.
What?
It's like female Viagra.
Wow, that's interesting. Chicks getting boners. If you want your chick to get a boner, take this pill.
You need to do it.
You need to do it.
Quit debating. Do it.
She wants to get a boner just as much as you do.
Quit stalling. Do it.
Do it.
What are you waiting for?
What do
do it.
Yeah, just put it in the bag. Just put it in your mouth.
Why aren't you doing it yet?
Just swallow those pills. There's a pill for everything. And if
So yeah, that's what I noticed. I just thought I had to bring that up. But
No,
yeah.
I get it, and I am, I don't take pills for any. I don't even like taking a pill for a goddamn headache.
But them commercials are just annoying. And then the side effects are so fucked up. Like, not only will they cure all that shit, you might be suicidal and one die.
If you suffer from uncontrollable earwax conditions, take this pill. Side effects include
Eye bleeding.
armpit sweating,
Armpit bleeding.
extreme toenail growth,
Toe ejaculation.
finger jam instead of between your toe jam.
Yeah, man. And that's what happens. It's just disgusting. And on that, this has been another episode of
Meant
to
vent.
Until next time, see you, everyone.
Stay tuned for the next episode.